you love horror games, you've probably tangled with the Resident Evil series. This franchise is basically a bunch of gangsters facing what were supposed to be scary monsters, like zombies, mutants, tyrants, mafias, and of course, a vampire with absolutely ridiculous, proportions. The series is so iconic that Resident Evil 9 is already cooking up for a release in the coming years. Now, out of all the Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 4 is the one that really grabbed fans by the heartstrings. Why? Well, it stars none other than Leon Kennedy, who might just be the most popular guy on the planet. And let's not forget the leading lady, Ashley Graham. She's a total hottie, although that's the only good thing about her. Because aside than that, she should be a side character. And of course, the epic storyline, memorable side characters, and engaging gameplay all play their part in making this game a classic. So today, let's take a break from Identity V and dive into the world of Resident Evil. I'm your host, Elizabeth. Let's get started.
Then come, Sancho Panza. Let us rescue the Princess Dulcinea.
You gotta hurt yourself.
Bruh.
Resident Evil 4 is a survival horror video game developed by Capcom. And even though it's called a survival horror game, the only thing players really need to survive is their own patience. I mean, you can always respawn if you die, right? The real survival challenge here is for the villains. I bet if they could scream, they'd be begging to swap places with the protagonist. They'd much rather be running away from Leon than chasing him. As I mentioned before, the main character in this game is none other than our Chad zombie killer, Leon S. Kennedy. Now, back in the day, Leon was like a super soldier cleverly disguised as a rookie cop. On his first day on the job, he didn't just survive, he went full action hero and wiped out over 100 zombies. I mean, can you imagine? The US government must have been kicking themselves for nuking Raccoon City after seeing Leon in action. Jeez, we had this guy all along? We could have just sent Leon in there and saved ourselves a whole bunch of hassle. And let's not even mention the cleanup costs. We should have read his resume more closely. But hey, no use crying over spilt radioactive milk. Once the government realized what they had, they trained Leon to be the ultimate zombie-killing machine. And let me tell you, he exceeded all expectations. Not only did he become the top-tier zombie slayer, but he also managed to become the top-tier lady slayer. Yep, Leon's got a harem list that could make any anime protagonist jealous. And here's a fun fact about Leon. He's probably leads a biker gang in his free time. He's just that good on a motorcycle. Oh, and did I mention he speaks Spanish? Yeah, our Chad zombie killer is out here slaying the undead and serenading the ladies in Spanish. There was even that one time he broke into song. The female lead in this game is none other than the US President's daughter, Ashley Graham. Now, Ashley is the kind of girl a lot of guys would want to marry because she has just two specific traits, looking cute and being totally useless. I mean, for many guys, it's like a dream come true, right? Someone to admire while also making you feel like the most dependable person on the planet. It's a win-win, and that's pretty awesome. In the game, Ashley follows Leon around like a lost puppy, trying her best to be, well, there. And at certain points, she even tries to seduce him. But come on, Leon's a Chad. He's not falling for that. If Leon ever wanted a girlfriend, all he'd have to do is post a status update on Facebook, and his inbox would be flooded with applications, probably with Ashley's name at the top of the list. But when Leon's on duty, he's all about being a Chad, not about getting distracted by cute, useless girls. Even though Leon's not exactly thrilled about it, he's been assigned to locate, protect, and return Ashley Graham to the US. And that's exactly what he does, making her purpose in the game. From Leon's perspective, questionable at best. I mean, this game is supposed to be Leon's chance to flex his sexy moves while single-handedly slaughtering an entire village. He only accepted the mission after the US President, Mr. Graham, threatened to make Bruce Willis the main lead of Resident Evil 4. And let's face it, nobody wants that. There are tons of side characters in Resident Evil 4, but let's just focus on 2 of them, because explaining everyone would take ages. First up, we've got a funky Spanish dude named Serra. This guy really tried to rock Leon's look but ended up failed miserably. Still, Capcom threw him a bone and let him be the sidekick in this game. Lucky Luis? He's from the Valdalobos village, the charming little hellhole where all the action takes place. We meet him locked up in a cellar because he had the courage to refuse joining the village's satanic cult. Points to Luis for having more common sense than the rest of the locals, who are too busy chanting and sacrificing people to notice how bad their life choices are. Luis wisely teams up with Leon, who is about to go on a village-wide slaughter spree, just to show off his sexy zombie-killing move. Then there's Wong, the woman who loves the color red more than anyone else on the planet. Seriously, if Ada's around, you can bet she'll be decked out in red dress, red shirt, maybe even red socks. She's like the human version of Identity V's Ping. It's always red, and green is just a distant dream. Ada was first introduced as an FBI agent during the Raccoon City incident, but plot twist, she's actually a spy. And not just any spy, but one who can't help simping for Leon. She tried to get over him for 6 years, but nope. Leon's still living rent-free in her head. So when the Resident Evil 4 remake rolled around, Ada basically begged Capcom to let her back in, even though they were thinking about swapping her out for Claire Redfield to keep the Redfield bloodline going. But Ada made some secret deal with Capcom to get her spot back. What kind of deal? Well, I can't help but wonder if it involved something spicy. Anyway, Ada's thrilled to see Leon again, but being the kudere she is, she plays it cool, acting all aloof and mysterious even though she's probably doing cartwheels in her mind. Much like the original, Resident Evil 4 sticks with that over-the-shoulder third-person shooter vibe. So if you've played the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, you'll feel right at home. But when it comes to combat, the game's had a bit of a glow-up. Forget those quick-time events. Now we've got the parry system. Yep, Leon's knife isn't just for fancy slicing anymore. It can parry pretty much any attack, including going one-on-one with a chainsaw-wielding psycho. Talking about Ashley, in this version, she no longer has a health bar. Instead, if she takes too much damage, she'll enter a downed state and needs to be revived. Honestly, this change does wonders for her character. The original Ashley? Total burden! She could scream so loud you'd think she was auditioning for a role in a disaster movie. Her wails could probably be heard from New York to London. Help! Leon! Help! Leon! She was so helpless that many players probably wish they could just accidentally kill her after an hour of gameplay. And her personality? The original Ashley was about as mature as a toddler throwing a tantrum. The only thing grown up about her was, well, her physical attributes, if you catch my drift. But now with the remake, Ashley's a bit more bearable. Dare I say, even lovable? The story kicks off 6 years after the Raccoon City destruction incident, where Leon Scott Kennedy, our favorite rookie-turned-action hero, still hasn't quite gotten over that one really bad day at work. I mean, Who could blame him? When your first day on the job involves zombies, explosions, and a city getting nuked, it's hard to just let it go. But instead of giving him some therapy and a long vacation, the government decided, hey, let's turn this guy into a secret agent. So Leon goes through boot camp from hell under Major Jack Krauser, who basically molds him into a one-man zombie apocalypse wrecking crew. Who needs a nuke when you've got Leon? Flash forward to 2004, and Leon's been sent to Valdelobos, Spain, for what's supposed to be a high-stakes rescue mission, but is actually the world's worst babysitting gig. His target? Ashley Graham, the US president's daughter, who's been kidnapped. Leon teams up with 2 local police officers who, in true horror game fashion, are just there to add to the body count. Capcom didn't even try to hide that they're cannon fodder. Leon didn't learn his lesson of Raccoon City, decides to poke around the creepy village where the locals are all out for revenge, because apparently they heard what he did to the zombies in Raccoon City. But these villagers clearly skipped history class because they don't know who Leon really is. The villagers don't stand a chance against Leon's upgraded skill set. They managed to get a brief reprieve, though, when they played dumb at the sound of a church bell, causing Leon to get distracted. Along the way, Leon finds a guy locked in a cellar for refusing to join the villagers' satanic cult. Talk about a bad Yelp review. Then the village chief, Vitores Mendez, makes his grand entrance. He's so overpowered thanks to Capcom's stats mix-up that he easily knocks Leon out. While Leon's out cold, Mendez injects him with something that is definitely not a COVID vaccine. Leon wakes up to find himself chained up with Luis, who's all too eager to share that he's got a strong hint about Ashley's whereabouts. After narrowly escaping a fight with a drunk villager, Leon continues his search, bumps into Wong, who, after 6 years, is still too shy to have a proper reunion. Leon also has a run-in with a monster lake that has no clue who it's messing with. Eventually, Leon finds Ashley and works his magic. He asks her to trust him, and surprisingly, she does. Leon's trust strategy is straight out of a Playboy manual. Charm the lady into trusting you and then shatter her trust miserably. As they try to escape, they bump into Luis again in a shack that looks like it's one bad gust of wind away from collapsing. After fending off the villagers, who really just want to use the restroom, the trio makes their getaway. Ashley starts coughing up blood, and Luis, ever the bearer of good news, explains it's not COVID, but something much worse: Plaga Syndrome. Plaga Syndrome is a charming parasite that makes monsters pop out of you like an unwanted party trick. Luis assures them they can be cured and then takes off to get a sandwich or whatever. Leon and Ashley keep dodging the satanic cult members, who are so fed up with Leon's winning streak that the village chief himself decides to settle the score. But, in classic bad guy fashion, he underestimates Leon and gets his butt handed to him. The villagers, realizing they've messed with the wrong guy, start chasing Leon and Ashley to beg for forgiveness. But Leon and Ashley, misreading the situation, escape to a nearby castle. And now, just as you're starting to think things couldn't get any worse, they've locked themselves in a castle. What could possibly go wrong? Well, everything. Upon entering the castle, Leon gets a call from Luis, who has apparently added amateur pharmacist to his resume. Luis offers Leon a suppressant that promises to slow down the parasite's growth, a bit like trying to slow down a speeding train with a pillow. Leon then strolls into a heavily guarded entrance, but instead of knocking, he decides to make a grand entrance by battling some Plaga creatures and commandeering a cannon, because why not? It's Leon we are talking about. After blasting his way in, Leon and Ashley run into the pint-sized Castellan, Ramon Salazar, who's got big plans for world dominance via parasite delivery service. Naturally, Leon and Ashley are not interested in evil make a swift exit, only to find themselves in a nightmare version of a medieval torture chamber. Here, Leon narrowly avoids becoming a Garrador's lunch special. For your information, a Garrador is a creature whose blindness matches your average Joseph Maines. As Leon presses on, he finds Ashley, who suddenly turns into a creepy puppet, courtesy of the parasite. Afraid of becoming a full Chucky mode, she runs off. Leon, now on a solo mission, bumps into the ever-mysterious Ada Wong, who is more than overjoyed to meet him again, but ever the couturier she is, plays it cool. After some flirty yet deadly banter, Ada suggests Leon dump Ashley like everyone's typical boyfriend. Leon, ever the hero, declines, so Ada exits stage left in dramatic fashion, leaving Leon to continue his search for the runaway Chucky wannabe. But before he can secure her, Salazar's creepy henchman, Verdugo, swoops in and kidnaps Ashley because of course he does. Ada, who seems to have an internal GPS for all things disastrous, calls Leon to let him know that Ashley's been taken to the throne room. Just when things couldn't get worse, Salazar orders Verdugo to toss Leon into a pit, like some kind of villainous trash disposal. But instead of meeting his end, Leon lands in an underground laboratory where he plays a deadly game of hide-and-seek with Verdugo before making a narrow escape. Luis, the world's most unfortunate pharmacist, shows up just in time with the suppressant and a way to cure the Plaga syndrome, only to be rudely interrupted by a knife in the back from none other than Jack Krauser. Krauser, who apparently holds the world's longest grudge, reveals he's got a beef with the government and everyone else. Luis, ever the trooper, hands Leon a key before taking his final bow. Fueled by a desire for revenge and a healthy dose of frustration, Leon tracks Salazar to the clock tower. After giving Salazar a permanent timeout in his grotesque monster form, Leon is handed a boat key by Ada, who's always there with a convenient escape plan. Leon finds himself in full chatty mode during a boat ride with Ada, reflecting on how much he's changed since Raccoon City. Just like a fine wine that's been aged in terror and regret, he wonders aloud if Ada's still the same mysterious, manipulative woman he knew 6 years ago, or if she's finally upgraded to a newer model of villainy. Ada, in classic fashion, says nothing and lets Leon steer the boat. After docking, Leon spots Krauser dragging Ashley into what looks like an evil fortress. Determined to rescue her, Leon sneaks into the base, but not without facing off against some Regenerador. After flexing his upgraded skills and making the enemy cry for forgiveness, Leon retrieved the keycard and freed Ashley, who's looking worse for wear. He gives her the last of the wonder drug that keeps her from sprouting extra limbs, and they set their GPS for Luis's lab. As they move along, Ashley decides it's the perfect time to bring up career goals, telling Leon she wants to be an agent just like him. Leon, already multitasking by shooting ganados and offering career advice, reminds her that right now, they should focus on not dying. They stumble upon the Amber storeroom, where they find the Plaga parasites chilling in their Amber prison. Sadler, the local cult leader and all-around bad guy, shows up and decides to take Leon for a spin on the mind control carousel. He controls both Leon's and Ashley's mind, forcing Ashley to finish Leon's off. But she runs out of bullets at the worst possible moment. Sadler then hauls Ashley away, leaving Leon to shake off the mind control like it's just a hangover. Leon uncovers some juicy backstory on Krauser and Ashley's kidnapping that feels like it's ripped straight from a telenovela. He finally tracks down Krauser, and the two have a showdown that's half battle, half therapy session. After some knife-to-heart counseling, Krauser admits Leon's got skills, and Leon agrees. Krauser died after saying GGWP to his former pupil. With Krauser out of the picture, Leon heads to save Ashley and to flex more stylish moves. Things went well until Mike, the cavalry in a helicopter, showed up just in time to help Leon, only to get blown up soon after. Fueled by more rage due to Mike's appearance and disappearance at the same time, Leon storms the final boss arena, finds Ashley napping on an altar, and faces off with Sadler, who tries to play the join me or die card. Leon, not in the mood, gets some timely help from Ada. Both Leon and Ashley finally reached Louis' lab to have their plagas removed. As they make their way out of the cave, Ashley starts to worry about Ada. But Leon reassures her, saying something like, Ada's got more lives than a cat with a lifetime supply of catnip. Sure enough, outside, they see Ada captured, clearly intended as bait for Leon. Knowing it's a trap, but unable to resist a good damsel not really in distress scenario, Leon leaves Ashley behind and rushes in. Sadler shows up and tries to choke the life out of Leon, but Ada, ever the escape artist, breaks free and joins the fight. Together they face off against Sadler, who decides now's the perfect time to monologue about his grand plan to spread the plaga worldwide, turning Earth into his own twisted version of paradise. Leon's not interested in any cult brochures, so he takes Sadler down, but the guy mutates again. With Ada's help, Leon gets his hands on a rocket launcher, which seems to be the universal solution to all monster problems. The rocket launcher weakens Sadler, and Leon finishes him off with style.
I'll give you a holy body.
Ada snatches the amber and offers Leon a ride on her getaway chopper. Leon declines, realizing it's probably just another chance for her to ghost him, again. As the island goes up in flames behind them, Leon and Ashley ride off on a water scooter, with Leon giving her the ol', "You did good, kid, but you've still got a lot to learn" speech. They speed away, leaving behind another mess for someone else to clean up. Meanwhile, Ada has a heart-to-heart with Wesker over the phone, who's plotting world domination casually like it's a Monday meeting. Horrified by his plans, she forces a course correction, all while casually noticing Leon and Ashley are safe below. Dropped on March 24th, 2023, this remake is just as big a hit as the original. Critics have been all over the controls, gameplay, graphics, and atmosphere, praising it to no end. But screw those critics. For me, this game is a gem because it has Leon in it. Imagine if Capcom had swapped out Leon for someone like Bruce Willis. I mean, come on! Would this game still be a hit? Probably not. In conclusion, this Resident Evil 4 remake is an absolute must for anyone who wants to experience a real horror game. I mean, sure, Identity V is technically a horror game. At least that's what the Play Store page claims. But let's be real for a second. The scariest thing about Identity V isn't the creepy atmosphere or the hunters. It's getting stuck with random teammates who think a cipher machine is some kind of ancient artifact they're supposed to admire rather than decode. And don't even get me started on the hunters. Are they supposed to be scary or just plain adorable? I mean, come on, Joseph and Mary in Hello Kitty outfits? What's terrifying about that? If anything, people are more likely to simp over them than run away in fear. But hey, this is all just for laughs, so don't take it too seriously, alright? Feel free to drop a comment or two in the section below. Thanks for watching. Elizabeth signing off. Catch you next time, folks.